2026, another electioneering year. Today, I want to ask a question. Do you think the Nigerian electoral process from the party to the election box, do you think it is fair, straight, credible, or crooked? What are your thoughts? Share your thoughts with us, even on our social media handles. I am William Stiloho, welcoming you to another exciting episode of Christians in Politics. And I'm going to be having a conversation today on this topic of the electioneering process in Nigeria, because this is another year to begin to run up and down politically. But what are the things that go in? Are they credible or not? We will get to hear. I have someone in the house who is going to be sharing in this conversation, and he's no other than Dr. Anthony Kehinde Shogunle. You're welcome on the show, sir.
Yeah, good day.
Thank
nice
you.
To speak
It's good to have you finally in the studio, sir. All right, Dr. Anthony is the former Commissioner of Finance, Ogun State, and then is also the Labour Party governorship candidate for the last election. Yeah. So you're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's our honor to have you, because we know we're going to hear first-hand reports or experiences, as it were, as to your race in the last election. So if I were to ask you the question straight, sir, would you say the Nigerian electoral process is clear, is good, is fair? What would you say it is?
Yeah, thank you very much. On the Nigerian electoral process, when you define the objective of that electoral process as to the production of leaders,
yes,
who would lead us right, and the expression, to give expression, or by giving expression to people to elect those leaders, I don't think it is designed to be effective.
Okay.
I mean, designed to be effective means it's not designed to really bring out the best. From the party system to the voting system to the declaration system to the judicial system that follows, there are gaps in that process that will not allow credible people, that will not allow righteous people, that will not allow conscientious people to go through their furnace to come out. It's like a black box that you don't really know what can happen at the end of the day. It's not natural. It's not designed to succeed. It's not mechanical. There are so many gaps and loopholes here and there that people can exploit, and then begin to see that a lot of people who mean well for the country, who mean well for governance, may not be able to successfully pass through that furnace. So if the input is not right, if the input is right and the process is wrong, then you don't get a good output. And if the output you are looking at is good leadership and good governance, then something is really wrong. The system you're talking about is about the process. I don't think the process to date is satisfactory enough.
Okay, someone will argue that almost any process or any system in the world is not perfect. Are you talking in terms of perfection now? Or you're talking about it not just being fundamentally rightly designed?
It is not about perfection now. It's about even fit to need. What do we want to get? Where do we start from? From the politics itself, from the political parties itself. How are political parties formed? Who have managed the political parties? How are members participating in political parties? How do you allow them to participate effectively in a democratic process? That is party itself. Party administration, party formation and then how are they controlled to behave properly? Most of the parties we have today, and we take it one by one, party are not based on any ideology. They are what I call vehicles of convenience to contest election. They are not driven by any ideology, by any ethos, and by any concern for good governance. They're just convenient vehicles that people just come together, register, to have the advantage of registering with INEC, and they are there looking for people. And so at the end of the day, and this across all political parties, whether the one in government or the one that has not been in government or the one that is going to be in government, it's across all. You find out that they are all marriages of convenience. They are all arrangements of convenience.
If I were to ask, sir, let me take you back to the beginning, sir. You talked about formation, and that's where we are now. if we talk about formation, whose responsibility it is now to make the needed change?
It is
who should and who can make this change?
It is the people that and that's why I will get to that. The regulatory authority for political party and political activities and elections is the Independent National Electoral Commission. It's a commission. It's like CBN is to banking.
Yeah.
So like NCC is to telecoms. Mm-hmm. If the telecoms industry is doing well, who is guiding it? It's NCC. So if the political system has to do well in this country, it has to be INEC. So INEC is supposed to have, they created guidelines, but most of these guidelines are not being followed, are not being monitored. And so at the end of the day, you see vehicles. It's just like when you play in a political party, you are gambling. You are not sure of what can come up. It's like you are putting your money in a bank, and the bank is not controlled. When they bust the liquidity ratio, the regulatory authority will say, no, you can't do that. That is not happening enough in our political system. And so that is allowed our people, both the contestants and even the electorate, to be subject to the whims and caprices of political players, because there is no regulator, there is no control system. There is no effective control system. I don't say there is no control. There is a system, but there is not effective enough to guide the behavior of political parties, to guide the people to select good leaders and allow people to contest. And it has not significantly changed. We've been talking about electoral reform. It's not about transmission of result alone. Even formation of parties, behavior and character of party members, of party officials, of all of that. I
was going to come to that. Tell us, before, there's a question that's boggling my mind. Before I think I should allow you, before I let you come back to that place of the formation of these parties, there's a part where you talked about there are loopholes, right? Now, if there are loopholes and others are taking advantage of it, as you are implying now, taking advantage of it, why don't others, let's say, if those who are not well-meaning for the state are taking advantage of this loophole, are there no loopholes that those who mean well for the state can also take advantage of? Or are they not just looking closely enough to see other gaps that they also can leverage?
It shouldn't be about loopholes, that taking advantage of loopholes. It's about following a due process.
Yeah.
Anybody that means well should not be looking about the gaps. It should be looking about what is the process and let me follow that process.
But at this point, sir, if we go by that and you say, okay, this is the right way, or this is the agreed way that is supposed to be, and then other people are finding options. If I want to really get this thing done, it is on me also to also find a way. If I am not going to cut corners as they are cutting corners, then I should be able to find a way to put the light on either some of those cutting corners, expose it so it doesn't continue, or I find a way to block it if it's within my power. And these were the things I'm asking. Are there things that people who mean well can also leverage?
Can do.
Yes.
Not leverage.
Okay.
Because
maybe can do. Let me take
the first thing is to organize themselves well. And organize themselves well from concepts to execution. Concept means that what is this party all about? Ideology, vision, values, purpose, and all of that. Which everything must come to the point that we want to make sure that aggregate people and their interest to get people who lead so that they can form good governance. Constitution and all of that. That is step one. Is that then propagate that message to the right set of people. Put criteria for admitting people to come to the party. It's free for all lots of but even as for admitting people, make sure that you set the rules and values that they need to abide and put mechanism in place to make sure that people who are playing that party follow the rules that you have created. The third then will now be to put up processes in place to create your leaders, even internal leadership of the parties, that will represent the interests of the party, not their own interests. If you can follow all of that, it happened in the banking. There used to be a bank when it was everybody come inside, when it was people can do a lot of sharp practices in treasury and all of that. But some banks said, look, we want to do ethical banking. Even in that jungle, some people say we want to do, I don't need to mention the names of some of the banks, but we know about that. But they wanted to do things right. Created systems, trained their people, put standards in place and all of that, and they followed it. When all the banks were crashing, some other financial institutions were crashing, these guys stood out. To the point that they were actually defining for the regulatory institution what the standard should be. We've not gotten parties now who are up to that.
And that will bring me to the next question. Yes, I wanted to ask, why haven't we gotten this done? Because I still believe...
Because people are thinking, people generally, particularly Nigerians, have a feeling that if you cannot beat them, join them. So a lot of people are... This convenience mentality, this immediate mentality is still with us. People always have that perception. Politics is a dirty game. And so if for you to play politics, you have to be dirty too. So you join in their game rather than playing your own game according to the rules, according to the standards that can be there. And if you begin to play according to those rules, you can even begin to change the regulator. Good. And that is what is still missing now. People today, if you start, and that's why Christians don't want to.
Yeah.
If you meet me now and say I'm a politician, there's a perception you have. You can be crooked, a liar, a blackmailer, there's a deception. And I put the archetype of a politician. It is because those who are playing according to the standards of the players now. We have not seen reformer politicians who say, look, this is the way the interests of people have to be protected. This is the way you have to serve the people. So when you are in this process, when you are in this party, this is the way you are. A lot of them are trying to, they are mouthing it. But there's a difference between theory in use and theory espoused.
I want to ask, I thought this was some of the motivation, because I see it with people who are directly involved in politics in one way or the other, and everyone in my own context, not judging, tend to be right in their own eyes, tend to want the best, not just for themselves, as the motivation for which they got into party.
Yes.
And that's why I'm asking the question, I'm asking again, that why haven't we have these reformers? Because if I were to ask you, knowing the little I've done about you, you had that need for change. So I don't want to promote a party, but let's not talk about that. Why haven't people like you gotten together or bring people of like minds? I understand the limitations, right? The limitation, let's take the classic example of the bank that you use. The place was muddy, was milky, was meshy, but some guys said, no, we want to do different. Why haven't we had people like you agree to come together and make a difference?
My own motivation all the while is to be an alternative to the political system. That one, we need good governance to run a good country. And that good governance can only be achieved through politics. And so I was there to engage. And we formed what we call a third force. I came into politics through the third force. The third force was supposed to be a set of professionals, right-thinking people who just feel that, look, we want to go into that foray. A lot of people are scared of it. We say, let's go inside. To come and reform that process. But there are two things we are pursuing. Reform the process, get government, or get elected. That cannot work together, side by side. Because at the time we are trying to get government, the vehicles that you are using are not ready for reform. You are assuming that you can use your enthusiasm, your principles, your power, everything, to influence them to follow your path. But while you are running around trying to convince people, vote for me, they are running a process that was designed to fail. That was the experience that some of us and some of people at the national level actually faced. A lot of people that moved into that party, Labour Party, wanted to utilize that Labour Party as a vehicle for change and transformation. It's a workers' party. The masses parties for working class and all of that. They have an ideological basis and all of that. That was on one path. On the other part is that we wanted to convince people that this is the party for you. This is the vehicle. These are by the quality of the candidates we had. But the people who are in the party were not saying that. They saw it as another transaction vehicle.
Good.
So as you're pursuing that, so we go into, and you can see the way the whole thing played out last time. I was a victim of that. Even Peter B was a victim of that. You can see people in the party after that last election. Okay, that's my own case. I did a primary. I was a winner for that primary, a candidate for for our state.
Yes, sir.
INEC, everybody that was supposed to be at the primary was there. Everybody was there. And I was declared winner and everything was happening. It now took the party people to do what? To submit my name with INEC. And INEC regulation says, look, it's only the party executives that can submit my name. Lo and behold, INEC was supposed to publish names. My name was not there. And gave an excuse that they were late, the party officials were late in submitting the form.
Tell us, were they actually late by the time allotted by the INEC, sir? Or was it INEC that didn't recognize their submission?
It was their own
participants.
It was the party's concussion. There was no need for any lateness. INEC was already at the primary. They monitored the results. They wrote a report. That's why I said design not to something. They wrote a report that this thing was free and fair. This person was declared. We got a copy of that report. But to do what they're supposed to do, so it's like you put your money in the bank. And somebody tells you the money is not there.
I'm tempted to answer. If INEC was there, saw the process, saw the results,
wrote a report
on it, then at what point did they now come out?
They are supposed to publish.
You are, by your reports, you are already indicted INEC because they were complacent, they were an accomplice to whatever played out.
Because they included in the electoral law that it's only the party officials that can submit the names of candidates. That was the loophole the party officials exploited. Okay. The law said it's only the party officials. I cannot even submit even when they were there. So they were not saying if the party officials did not submit the report, the results, then they would not recognize it. When they were there, we took them to court. They now caught us on the altar of time that it was not time. We didn't file it at the appropriate time, and the party officials delayed things so much that the time elapsed before they even told us that the thing was not done.
So what did the party officials give you as a reason for why it was delayed?
The reason was that our people that were supposed to carry the thing to Abuja did not come on time. They were late by like 1 hour. But that's a cock and bull story. I now know the story. So you get what I'm saying? You can see that it's a design to frustrate the process. They even went through that during Peter Obi's time, when Peter Obi went to court. There were so many things that they did. The same members of the party, some of them, were working against.
Now talk to us about this recruitment process because you mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, that's why I said recruitment. So how can the issue then is that how can such kind of people be the ones that will be executives of a party? It drives home how were they even recruited initially? Were they trained to members? Were they trained to be officials? Who guides whether? You see a lot of those cases happen.
But you were a member of that party. Tell us about particularly reference to your party.
Let me tell you
what happened. How did they come into?
When I declared my intention to contest the election,
yes, sir, I
belonged to what we call the third force.
Yes, sir.
And I believed in the ideology of the third force, saying that there must be another expression. Then I even chose any party that I wanted to. But they now said, come, there's an alliance going on. There's a coalition. All of us are coming together under a workers' party. And it made sense to me. I wasn't part of the party at the beginning, but I just made sense to me because if all workers are in a particular party and everybody's coming together to say, let's use one party so that we can all be united, it made sense to me to join them. I didn't have any information about that much about the character of the people, about the quality of the leaders, but I just know that if our leaders could say, this is the party we can use, let me subscribe to that. But it was when we got into the game, I realized that the game is more than just a coalition. There are issues there too, because when the leaders joined them, I expected that leaders would have said, look, in joining your party, this is the standard of administration that we expected. And if you cannot do this, you will not be part of the party. But it was like, we need to get a platform, let's start it quickly so that we can run for the election. And we felt it was good enough. And everybody pretending that everything is nice. It was not knowing that all through the country, they were using that party as a vehicle for making candidates. I can say that I know. I experienced
making
it.
Candidates.
Because they will promise you a ticket. They will tell you, okay, look, it's too late for the period of the election, but we can have a substitution, so we can pay you up this amount of money. We would give you a ticket. They give them that ticket at the time. They can even change it for another person. Because everything was like crammed up. So for me, that reform cannot be done within a short period. If you really want to set up a party that can contest effectively with the right set of people, you need to have some time where members, candidates will have been groomed, the process will have been known, and so that everybody knows what is expected. That if I submit my form, it will submitted. If I've been, those are the gaps that people see. I've now started that, walking through it, coming from a management perspective. I've now gone through that process. I've seen, okay, look, to ask that question you now ask,
yes,
this is not designed to produce good leaders.
It was business as usual.
Business as usual. This is even for fringe parties. The main parties are institutions of,
regulations.
All the bigger ones. You can see what's happening. Even the bigger ones, the one that's produced the government today, the one that produced the government before. That place, anything can happen.
I was going to ask about the place of the ideology, because you mentioned, and before I forget that, there was something you said earlier. You talked about, I asked the question now, how come those of you who mean well would not get together to form a party of your own?
Yeah, it's
with this idea, because now you have seen, you have known some of these lapses. Why are you not maybe leveraging the network of like minds to have this?
Yes.
One. Two, on the other side, if you now begin to leverage this network, you've said it's not a thing that can happen within a short time.
Yes.
And I expected that now that you've come out of this, the best time to start would have been now, so that even if you are not contesting 2026, 2027, maybe you would at least have a good representation or a name or whatever. Why is that not being done?
That's already happening. 2 years ago, immediately after the last election, when some of us saw that, there was a group of professionals who came together and said, we cannot continue with this. And all over the country now, there is a movement that is already created for people of like minds who can see through all the charade and say, look, let us begin to build from below. Let's begin to set ideology, let's set capacity, competencies, choice of leader, and all of that. It's already happening. It may not be an overnight thing, but it's already happening. And we are assessing each of the parties, other the parties that are there, if it has been possible. Because we also see that even the regulatory organization does not easily, when they see the potential of a party that is coming, they will not easily, they will create a lot of bottlenecks for you to register as a party. So we are working with existing ones and also thinking of setting up a party, such that if the existing ones can adapt to the things we are saying, we work with them. If we know by the time we want to, by the time we grow so well, and I think we have grown very well now, we can easily form a party. To tell a party that you must have offices in across this nation. It's very difficult in a big country like Nigeria.
True.
And you must have good leaders in every country. So for the past 18, 20 months now, we've been doing it too. So because this is not a dash. It's a marathon. And we have seen that this period of formation is not going to just come overnight. So some of us are not enthusiastic about even any of the parties that are available today, because we can see below them. So, but if we're there for good governance in the long run, this has to happen. Particularly, a lot of our young people that follow some of us at that time are getting exasperated. They're getting discouraged. They are passionate about the country, and they're asking, which one do we go to? And so we must create a sense of hope and thinking, is it good? And I like the experience that some of us have gone through that experience. I'm not going to hurry out and say, look, I can't do anything about it, I forget about it. No. I'm not a quitter of that nature. Yeah. I'm a reformer, so I will be we will give it a long run. And it's not quite going to be too long.
Definitely.
It's not going to be too long, because the people are ready for that. And then a lot of things are coming up. The youth is there. They have a significant population. There is technology that can allow us to connect a lot more. And then we also know we are knowing the rules. We are getting knowledgeable about the rules of party formation, about the rules of that INEC has to follow post-election. We are now understand that there is a process for elections. It's not just about coming out to vote, go and register to vote, and then come out on the day of the election or monitor your vote. It's not just that. There is a whole mechanism that translates into how you get a candidate, how your party is registered, how your elections are, the votes are counted, and then there's a whole process. That process now we know, and at every point we are putting controls strength, the controls in place, processes in place to make sure that with all these gaps that we see, we are filling that. So when they're going to see very soon, are going to be what I call informed, committed, dedicated, knowledgeable, connected people who are saying, look, you can't just feed us anything. And I reckon that when the people are now when you're talking to the people recognize that that is the party you have to be. It's not about promises. Anybody can come and make promises. You know what they do these days? All the parties, all the players, they just flash money. Everybody thinks about money's game. The biggest spender because gets the most attention. At the end of the day, when he wins, nothing happens. It is elect
like they say,
and regrets. Otilo. So people are beginning to see that Otilo can mean so much. So these days, people are looking for who is telling them the truth, who is building the right structures, who is concerned about our people. We are also building capacity. What we find out is that people say, oh, hey, politicians, people come, but where are the leaders? Where are the people with capacity to rule people?
Permit me to cut you in a little bit because of our time. We're fast running out of time. I really want us to touch on this before we go. Looking at all this that you know and you see, what does the hope look like? What does this next election look like? Do you see a possibility for any change so far yet?
If there's going to be a change, it's going to be very slight. If there's going to be a change, because the incumbent governments have done everything possible, because they know they were opposition before. They know how to muscle opposition. And the opposition that's already weak, somebody that has been playing the same rough games with you is now the champion. He knows the next step you can take.
Yeah.
So that's why today they are almost muzzled all opposition. So the next election is not going to be significantly different. There are formations here and there, but it takes superior strategic power, strategic political power to tackle
the current incumbents.
The incumbents, the way they are playing. It takes superior, and I don't think our opposition is organized enough.
Because I still see, I was going to come to that I still see, even within the party already, there's already squabble. The party that is yet to stand, it's already beginning
to fail. So correct.
I was going to ask, do you think there's hope? But you've already given us that on a platter. So let me move
Except, but there will be, islands, some little sanities here and there that will begin to show that some, it can be overall, but in some, not just in some clear areas, you will see some people who are able to say we can make a difference here. The number of differences that will be made, the areas where we made it, will be more than
the
previous.
Okay.
But I believe that
at least that offers
hope.
That offers hope for the average Nigerian. Yeah, okay. But again, let me ask, are you not concerned? Because some of us are beginning to wonder if the way the current political party is going, are they not trying to drive Nigeria into a one-party state?
That's the agenda of an incumbent government that was in opposition. So, and for them is winner takes all, must everybody out and do whatever is possible. Because now you have state power, now you have control of resources, now you have a lot of things. But Nigerians are very resilient. A lot of people are also aware of what is going on. So a lot of people are now very clear about the possibilities, and they're saying, look, feasibly it might be like that, but underground
there's also a
possibilities for not a reaction, a response. Not I want to reaction, a response, a strategic response that can beat in some places, and we don't know what can happen. The people are the final decider of any election, and if people are also getting more aware. This is 26 years. Or 27 years in this new democracy. Yes. So people can now read the pattern of everybody. They've known the culture of every political player. And between that line, there emerged a set of people, very potent. You think they are quiet. They emerged, they showed themselves to a point in the last election. This is young people I'm talking about. Yeah. You think they don't know that. You see, they are global, they are connected, they have information. But they tried the last time, they did not succeed. But they will come up with new formula. It may not be new engagement formula that people may not have a solution to. And they will not realize that, look now, who sold WhatsApp to you? Who sold Twitter to you? But today, it's occupying our lives. New tools are going to come and play that the old players may not be able to grapple with.
I like that part. Let's say I'm closing it up there. But let me give you 30 seconds, just 30 seconds. If there's anything you want to say to our viewers at home who are watching, and maybe any word of hope, any word of encouragement, what would it be? Your last words.
This country is blessed. This country has potential. This country has good people. And this country has achieved good things in the world, particularly through the Christian faith. You can see how, particularly a church like this and other churches, have taken the Bible. I don't want to be this Bible. I'm taking it from, received it and used it to. They're not even propagating it. That same sense of understanding the word, we can understand Nigeria and use it to engage Nigeria such a way that it will convince people that there are good people here. So whatever anybody is paying now, it has happened in every civilization. There will be a time when
it will look bleak.
It will look bleak, but there is hope somewhere, and there is God. And He will not leave His people forsaken. So whatever anybody is paying now, they are just paying with their own understanding. But God is giving understanding to people now. He's giving awareness. He's giving energy. He's giving them spirit. He has told you, be fruitful, multiply, and go and have dominion. And people, now that we are engaging that process, we are realizing, hey, this is the way you have been doing that. It took a long time for what the Egyptians did for.
It is well. All right, that was hope. That's the much we'll be able to take today. That was hope from our very own Dr. Anthony Kehinde Shogunle, who was the former Labour Party governorship candidate for Ogun State and also the former Commissioner of Finance. Thank you so very much for coming on the show, sir. So my name is William Stilo, who's signing you out. Until I come your way again next week, stay blessed.
Thank you.